In Module 2, Lesson 13, we're continuing to divide using the standard algorithm. In example 1, we're going to divide 1,755 by 27. We can estimate, to give us a good idea of whether we're close or not, and 1,755 is close to 1,800, which I know is easily divided by 30, which is close to 27. 1,800 divided by 30 would be 60. So now when we set up our problem, we have some numbers that we can start with. 27 doesn't go into 1, 27 doesn't go into 17, but 27 definitely does go into 175. So if we guess the 6 from our estimate, that 6 would go directly above the first 5, since we are dividing those first 3 digits. 6 times 7 is 42. Regroup the 4. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 4 is 16. Then we would subtract 175 minus 162 is 13, and we'll need to bring down the final 5. Since this number ends in a 5, my first guess would be that perhaps 5 is our best choice. I also noticed that our first digit was 6 in our quotient, and we had 162 as a result. So 5 looks like a pretty good guess. 5 times 7 is 35. Regroup the 3. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. And when we don't have a remainder, we have finished dividing. Then remember to check your work. You multiply the answer times the number that we were dividing by, or our divisor. So our divisor was 27 times our quotient, which was 65, and we find that it is indeed 1,755. Example 2 starts with a rather large dividend, 205,276 divided by 38. Let's estimate the quotient first. I know that 20, our first 2 digits, are easily divided by 40, or 4. The 4 in this is the first digit here, would go easily into 20. So if I round this to 200,000 divided by 40, I know that 4 goes into 20 5 times. And then I should have 3 more zeros. So 200,000 divided by 40 is 5,000. Now we need to do the actual division. So looking at our estimate, the first digit ought to be a 5. 38 doesn't go into 2, 38 doesn't go into 20, but 38 goes into 205, those first 3 digits. And we guessed 5 times. So we'll put a 5 up in our quotient, right above the 5 in our 205,000. 5 times 8 is 40, and we regroup the 4. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 4 more is 19. And then when we subtract, we get 15. Next, we need to bring down the 2. 152 38 going into 152 can't be 5 because that was 190. We could try a 4, putting that right above the 2 since that's the last digit in the numbers we're dividing. 4 times 8 is 32. Regroup the 3. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 more is 15. Now this is where we need to be very careful, because when we subtract we do get 0. However, we have not used the last 2 digits in this number. So we still have to bring down the rest of the number 1 digit at a time. When I bring down the 7 and I check, 38 does not go into 7. So up in our quotient, we need to put a 0 to hold that place. And then bring down the next digit, which is a 6. Perhaps we should multiply by 0 just to see that we still have that 7. And we bring down the 6. Now, 38 goes into 76 2 times, which is actually 76, and a remainder of 0. And now we can be done because there are no other digits in our dividend that need to be divided. Our final answer is 5,402. And to check our answer, we would multiply 5,402 times 38. And that will give us 205,276. And in our final example, finding the quotient of 17,216,673 divided by 23. I would round my 17 million up to 18 million to do my estimate, because I know that 23 could round to 20 very easily, and 18 million is easier to divide by 20 than 17 million. So 18 million divided by 20 would be 900,000. Ugh. 23 won't go into 1, 23 won't go into 17, but 23 will go into 172. Those are our first 3 digits. Looking at the 2 in the 23, I know the maximum it could go into 17 would be 8 times. But I really feel like that's going to be too many. So I'm going to try 7. 7 times 3 is 21. Regroup the 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 2 is 16. And then we subtract. 172 minus 161 is 11. Next, we bring down another 1. I'm going to guess 5. You can see that our estimate looks like it's a bit off there, but our numbers were very large, so that can make it more difficult. 5 times 3 is 15. Regroup the 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and that's too large. So we'll need to erase. And drop back to 4. Four times 3 is 12. Regroup the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 111 minus 92 will be 19. We need to bring down our next digit, which is a 6. 23, go into 196. 9 is definitely going to be too much. We can try 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Regroup the 2. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 2 more is 18. (196) minus 184 is 12. We'll need to bring down the next digit, which is also a 6. 126 divided by 23. Can we try a 5? I think so. 5 times 3 is 15. Regroup the 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. And 126 minus 115 is 11. Our next digit is a 7. We bring that down. And if we're paying attention to our numbers along the way, we see that 117 and 115 are very close. So our next digit should definitely be a 5. And 5 times 23 is 115. We know that because we just did it. 117 minus 115 is 2. And our last digit is a 3, which we bring down. And 23 goes into 23 one time. And we have no remainder. Yes, this is a long problem that we have to do every step. So our final answer then is $748,551. It's not quite 900,000, but it is close. The next problems you'll complete on your own, and also the problem set. Practicing the long division the same way that we did, and then make sure that your answer is reasonable.